a mixed ratio. And currently, it is a children. It's like the children around when they close from school.
Okay.
They come around to me. And there's a spike that connects them to the chamber so that they can hear to analyze to know whatever went on the dump. So there's the door we saw from the third chamber.
Okay, so it's this door that we saw.
Yeah, this door that we saw.
Wow, that's an interesting angle.
So while they went in and out, whether from this side or from this side,
Okay.
you can hear them down here. But they never killed. They claim they were worshiping our people. So the question is, what kind of God did they claim to our people? Killed. They claim they were worshiping our people.
The question is, what kind of God did they claim to our people?
So we've come up here on this parapet to continue our tour.
There is a fort to this side. On top of the mountain, to the last top. Very small building. That's Fort Victoria. And there's a communication room. So when enemies are coming, soldiers up there will be able to identify them earlier than the soldiers here. They will give them signals. Morning red flags, afternoon reflections from mirrors, evening torchlight.
Okay.
The small hole serves as a link to receive the signals. So when you look through, you can see the fort directly.
Okay.
So whatever signal can be.
So they would send signals from the fort. I don't know if you can see it. It's way up there. What we were looking at from here is the fort. That's way up there, which is very hard to see. Up here.
And everything is connected to spirituality. Sitting there for months, just waiting out for manna to drop from heaven. And the manna cannot drop unless we work on ourselves. Yes, exactly. And everything is connected to spirituality.
What he said. Oh, it's nice and breezy. The personnel office, nice and breezy. Lovely. Yeah, sure. I have a great job. I work in the personnel office of the slave dungeons.
We shall see the living room and the bedroom too up. The canons were all brought in by the British to protect themselves from the other European nations. And taking over the castle and the tree from there. So there is another fort up here.
Oh,
that's Williams.
Williams.
So we shall see the communication room to up here. That one too, they give signals. So when they get to the signals, they have to come on board to create the weapons to shoot the Egyptians. And before they shoot, they pound gunpowder in the cannon gun. They add the cannonball to it. There is a small hole to the tip. They light a match or a fire to the tip. They shoot the Egyptians. And each of them travels about 400 to 500 meters. And they were all movable.
And what was the name of that fort again?
Fort Williams.
Fort Williams, okay.
You can see views under the ones to the far end. Yes.
So I'm looking over these ramparts and these breezeways. These are the cannons that they used to use to defend themselves, the British defend themselves against, other people who would want to come and take the fort and, I guess, take their slaves, the ones they thought were theirs. We're in another communication room for them to see Fort William, which is atop that hill. So they could also look out and signal them. Maybe they fired off cannons to tell them what was up. This is insane. This is the governor's bedroom and hall. We're going up. I'm gonna guess this is not the original wood. Or is it? We'll be asking that. Oh, nice, beautiful breeze up here for the governor.
Yeah, of course.
how they were living life happy, how the ancestors were going through trials and tribulations. So we try to compare.
Yeah. So all of this was for one man.
Just for one man. No family members.
No family members, just one man. I don't want to say how many enslaved Africans they would have shoved in here. Well, none, I guess, because there are windows, so that wouldn't have done. Some cannons that didn't make it.
The whole place, yes, this one was a soldier's canteen.
Okay.
And the whole area was the barracks.
Okay. So,
And at a point in time, colonial period, they converted the place into a prison for Ghanaians.
oh,
But Ghanaians didn't really understand why the same place they enslaved their ancestors should be a prison for Ghanaians.
no.
And so around 1992, they converted it from here to a different place. And currently, this place is an arts and craft shop. The building to the middle is now a coffee shop. So from a barracks to a prison is to an arts and craft shop. Soldiers canteen, now a coffee shop. So even when we were receiving tourists, here was a prison at the time. Everything is original. And the handles.
So here is restored wood, but here is original, and it's pitch pine. And the banisters are original. It's crazy that this place has stood up this long. And I guess it needed to, so that people can see it. This is all original.
All over 200 years old.
Wow. This is
You
original.
see the court.
This is what?
This was the court.
So that's a craft market now down there.
Straight. Last door to your left. So quarters system in Ghana started. So established by Captain George McLean. I made mention he was an administrator, the president of the slave merchant, and later he was appointed a judicial assessor. So he established the court in this same court he drafted the popular bond of 1844. After took it to the Palaver Hall, Commander Hill, together with the 8 Fante chiefs, came together to sign the bond, which paved way for the colonialism of Ghana for 130 years. It's the first court system established in Ghana.
And I see the fish market or the fishermen out there. There's a large fishing industry.
You see the slave market.
I keep lagging behind because I want to see more. More rooms, door, more cannons. I mean, this place is massive. Thank you. Oliver Hall. Wow, look at that. Oh, pretty butterfly.
So this was the slave market.
Oh.
So Palaver Hall. From it means talking, noise making, or distraction. So basically, because here was a market, that's why the tag on it.
Palaver.
Which means noise making, or disturbance, or distraction. Because of the argument and the bargaining that we do, that's why the tag is Palaver. So here, wherever they capture them from,
Makes
they
sense.
get to the castle. This is the first place they bring them. And now here, the European merchants are here with their nets and doctors, receive the captives, examine their strength to see that indeed you qualify to be bought as captives before the auctioning went on. So strong African men and women exchange for commodities. Commodities such as mineral, gunpowder, tobacco, fabric, sugar and salt. And after the auctioning, they march them to the forecourt to brand them before they separate them into the various chambers. In this same place, they signed the bond of 1844. So the bond drafted in the court brought in here to sign by Commander Hill and 8 other Fante chiefs.
I didn't understand. What was the bond for?
Yeah, so the bond of 1844 was an agreement signed between Commander Hill and 8 other Fante chiefs. And so initially, the Fantes and the Ashantis, they were having some rivalries at the coast because the Ashantis wanted to trade with the British, and Fantes wouldn't allow them. The British and the Ashantis didn't also want the Fantes to trade with them. So now everybody is trying to trade with the British. So now a rivalry came between them. And so now the British will come out that they will protect the Fantes in terms of any war with the Ashantis, and they will help them sought to stop out all sorts of injustice that is around the area, such as human sacrificing and the rest. So there was a stipulated bond in the agreement they got, and that led to the colonialism of Ghana. And so the bond was not signed to colonize Ghana, but by so doing, looking at the terms in the bond, they sought out to extend their jurisdiction around the area so that they would just couple on it to colonize Ghana. So that was what happened in the bond.
Okay, so
8 Fante chiefs, together with the Commander Hill, they signed it, and it led to colonization.
Okay.
So they signed it in 1844.
But it was used to colonize.
It's 100 years. And after 1944, still they kept on. But during that period, several other freedom fighters have risen, together with Kwame Nkrumah and the other likes, the educated elites. So they knew there was a bond like that. And so they went further to fight additional 13 years until 1957 when Ghana gained independence. And so making 113 years. But after 1957, they were still here until 1960. Ghana officially became a republican 1st July, and we started managing our own affairs. So ideally, they were here for 113 years. If we add the additional 3 years from 1957 to 1960, then probably 116 years before we finally sought to manage our own affairs. So that was the point.
Got you. Thank you.
Yeah, they had companies such as Lloyd's of London, Barclays, they had Royal African Company, they had Bank of New Amsterdam, they had Liverpool, they had Manchester, a whole lot of them coming in to trade in captives or to buy slaves. And currently, most of them are still in existence, but they are operating. They all
Good to know.